Hi and welcome to Fynamics GST. Fynamics is an approved GST Suvidha provider serving more than 2,500 clients, including large enterprises, a good number of consulting firms, CA firms, SMBs, startups, etc. In their entire journey of GST compliance, including returns, 2B reconciliation, e-invoicing, e-waybill, and so on. So today's demo, we will focus on the 2B reconciliation module on Fynamics. These are some of the modules on the left panel that you will find. The ASP that covers returns and 2B recon, e-waybill, e-invoice, VAS, which is like a GL to GST reconciliation module, controllership, delivery challan management, digital signature, vendor KYC, vendor compliance portal, and add-ons that covers search taxpayer, search returns filing status, and so on and so forth. It starts, so each of these modules, there is the support for the an associate and supervisor roles, unlimited users. So the type of roles can be associate or supervisors for each of these modules, and across the solution you have the admin profile. So let me just quickly log in with an admin profile, take you through some of the features that are there, and then jump right in into the 2B reconciliation. So I've logged in as an admin, as you can see on the top right corner. It's a multi-PAN, multi-GST, multi-user solution. So on the admin panel, settings, there are a bunch of profile settings, IP whitelisting, data archival, change log, etc., as well as PAN level settings like master data, which is your PAN data, GST data, other tables, custom tables as well. Where Fynamics GST stands apart is it allows you to create custom derivation rules and custom validations, which no other ASP GSP in the market can do. So the custom tables actually allow you to create and maintain, let's say, for example, a currency master, right? So assume you do not have the INR values in your ERP system, and for that you are posting the data in USD values, but you want Fynamics to convert that to INR based on a converter conversion rate, and then push that to the GST portal for returns filing, etc. So you can maintain these custom tables and give relevant details. You can activate, deactivate, copy, create new, delete them, etc. So all these are like your own data table that you're managing on the Fynamics platform. User management, unlimited users with permission-based access for each of the modules. You can create associates and supervisors. Customer and vendor management automatically computed based on the data that you upload, with the option to, on the vendor management side, you get the option to also enable or disable a vendor portal access. In which case, if you enable, then you can invite your vendors to a standalone portal where they can see the mismatches and the no matches and take action on them, and they can also give details on the amendments, etc. That's called the VCP portal that you saw on the landing page. So they will get access to the VCP, which is vendor compliance portal. They give the details on why the mistake happened, or what was the data entry mistake, or have they amended the data. If so, they can share screenshot from the GST portal on that on Fynamics itself, and all of that is made available for you to review. You can also initiate vendor email notifications, either monthly at a PAN level or at an invoice level as soon as a reconciliation is done. These are some of the masters for each of the modules, but Fynamics supports customized data inputs. So if you are on, with regardless of you being on an ERP system like an SAP, S4HANA, ECC, B1, etc., or Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, Navision, QAD, Tally, whatever be your ERP system. Even if you are a Fynone, which is our ERP solution, so even if you are a Fynone user, you will there is the customization that has already been built in, so you don't need to additionally put any effort. But if over and above that, also if you want a customization template built in specific to your output formats, you could let us know to build that template master as well. Controllership and VAS will skip because of the focus being on 2B reconciliation module. So that's more or less of what happens on the admin panel. So let me kind of take a user for the ASP. Let's say we take this ASP supervisor at Fynamics GST to show more on the 2B reconciliation activities. So once you log in as a supervisor into the ASP module, you are assigned the PAN and the GST IDs as defined by the admin, and you can subsequently add associates. So if you are a supervisor, you can add associates by going to the settings and giving them access to the specific GST IDs. So supervisors are linked to a PAN, associates are linked to GST IDs, one or more GST IDs. We are doing this demo on our sandbox environment. To get access to the production environment, please contact Fynamics team. So it starts with the vendor recon module where let us quickly go through some of these vendor recon features. You have the data upload of the purchase register supporting Excel uploads, APIs, and SFTPs. All of these get enabled as part of the onboarding. And then we also have the option to auto pull the 2A, 2B data from the GSTN portal. And you have the option at the time period basis which you that needs to be pulled. Then whether you want the vendor portal access enabled or disabled, whether you want reconciliation done at a document level or at a tax rate level, and if it's an RCM, do you want a separate workflow for managing RCM transactions? In which case, if you enable this, then for wherever you push the PR data, that is purchase register data with RCM flag set as yes, then we will consider only the taxable value and not the taxes and the total invoice value. So those are more or less of what happens as recon features. You can log in and you will go to the 2A, 2B section where you can choose if you want to pull 2A or 2B, select one or all GST IDs and pull them via an API. Or you could also just choose the GST IDs and upload the JSON against those particular GST IDs. Now, the reason we have given 2A, 2B is we are industry's only solution to support simultaneous reconciliation of both 2A and 2B data. So what happens is Fynamics has an inbuilt intelligence of handling duplicate records and handling amendment workflow. These two are very critical as far as Fynamics GST module is concerned. Now, whenever you pull, let's say you pull the 2A data today and you subsequently again pull the 2A data tomorrow and there is no new record, then we will automatically mark the duplicate transactions and as not consider records. There is this tab here that you see saying not consider records. They will not be considered for the reconciliation. So your reconciliation will not get impacted if you keep pulling the same 2A data every day. So that is the duplicate workflow. Second is amendment workflow. Let's say you are pulling the 2A today and on 14th of the month you're pulling the 2B. You do not need to upload the purchase register again. The what Fynamics does is automatically based on its internal intelligence algorithm, the 2A will get delinked from the purchase register linkage and get marked as old. The 2B will get considered for reconciliation and that will be matched with the purchase register that has already been uploaded by you earlier. So those two are part of what we call as not considered records. So you have various types of not considered records, but most importantly is old record, which happens in terms of in case of amendment workflows, especially when you're pulling 2A first time and then pulling 2B. And you also have the duplicate records where you're pulling the same data set multiple times. So these two are critical as aspects of what Fynamics does on a workflow model. On the PR side also, the same two workflows exist. You have the duplicate workflow, you have the amendment workflow, and we have given the options to upload Excel standard template, API, SFTP, or if you're a Fynone ERP user, then you also have the option to upload the Fynone purchase register template. Fynone also is from Fynamics. It's part of our product portfolio, and it is our ERP solution. Now, coming to customized Excel template, over and above any of this, if you have a template and you want it to be customized, then we are more than happy to help you on the way. Please reach out to the Fynamics team, and we will guide you on the customization front. So PR also, that is purchase register, also has that same option of uploading of duplicate workflow and amendment workflow. Now, once that is done, that is once you have uploaded both these registers, you then go to the reconciliation. Now, reconciliation parameters, we automatically, based on a bunch of suggestions, we set up a bunch of reconciliation parameters, but this can be changed at your end depending on what you want. So we have a bunch of default reconciliation parameters saying financial year, your PAN, the vendor PAN, the document type, whether it's invoice, credit note, debit note, and the trimmed invoice number, which is invoice number without special characters and leading zero. And then there is this whole lot of optional parameters that you can play around with, which means that you can choose which of these you want and which of these you don't want. Suppose invoice date, you don't want to do a reconciliation on invoice date. You can remove this parameter as part of the onboarding itself. Or if you want to change the threshold values, you say IGST amount, I want it as 10 rupees, CGST as 5, SGST as 3, CES as 0. So you can change all of those values as part of the onboarding. Similarly, RCM parameters and also now recently launched vendor e-invoice status check parameter. If you feel most of your vendors are e-invoice enabled and you want to check their e-invoice status before you do a 2B before you make a vendor payment. So, for example, let's say the vendor is e-invoice enabled, but they are not generating e-invoices. So they are giving you invoices without an IRN. How would you validate it? So if you enable this vendor GSTIN e-invoice status check, then when we pull the when we get your PR data for each of those vendor GST IDs, we hit the government portal as an approved GST Suvidha provider, check their e-invoice status, and if they are enabled, then we check the 2B data if those vendors have submitted invoices with IRN number only. And wherever the IRN number is not there, they get tagged as not matched or partial match. So they will be tagged separately, so bucketed separately, so that it's very clearly called out to you that these vendors are eligible for e-invoicing, but they have given you invoices without an IRN number. So coming to basically the core of the reconciliation, the data is bucketed into exact match. So all the data will sit into this yet to recon, and you just start the recon, and then the data gets bucketed into exact match, partial match, and no match. Exact matches are those where whatever we saw as recon parameters, there is no issues. It's matching across all those parameters. Those are exact matches, including threshold values. Partial matches are those where only the default parameters match, but there's a difference on the optional parameters. So just to revisit or go through the session again, the default parameters are these five, which is at a very top level, PAN level information. So PAN details match, but invoice information details don't match, including even mismatch in GST IDs. Those fall into partial matches. Now you can restore data for 8 years or more basis your data storage policies. So you could always go back to any prior date and give a search, and you'll find all of those information available. You can view what is the mismatched information. We give that, let's say the values here. Then there's, of course, you can view the data based on mismatch fields. You can based on recon parameters, based on all the fields, etc. You can view all of that. From here, you can also take certain actions saying you want to accept it, you want to keep it on hold, or you want to reject it, or you want to give a no. So we have already taken an action here saying reject. So you can choose whatever action you want. So by default, it will be a no action. You can then choose if you want to accept it, reject it, keep it on hold, or mark it as an exact match or mark it as a no match. So this partial match data will then accordingly move to the relevant bucket. You can do various filter options. You can say I want to filter where there is a mismatch in taxpayer GST ID, or at least where there is a mismatch in taxpayer GST ID and invoice date, and let's say counterparty GST ID, and so on and so forth. So you can do all of those filtering options as part of this filter. If there are more than one invoice that you want to mark, you can do a bulk mark all as exact match, bulk mark all as no match, or if you can also do an update of action of acceptance, rejection, pending, or no action, or even do a custom Excel upload of the actions. Now, these actions are like an MIS. It's very internal to your organization. This has no impact on the GST portal. It is for telling you, for you to maintain that you have taken an action of acceptance, rejection, etc. Now, the ones that you accept, we would consider that as part of 3B filing, returns filing. So you can know more about that as part of the returns filing video, how we take accepted purchase register transactions for 3B filing. So these are more or less of the partial matches, and then there is the no match on both the sides. You have 2A, 2B not matching PR, and PR not matching 2A. So you can again look at the data. You can take certain actions. PR side, you can also delete it if they are in the non-matching. So you would have uploaded some data by mistake, and you want to delete. You can individually delete them, or from the file audit trail, you can delete the entire file itself in bulk. Now, this deletion is available only to the supervisor. It is not available to an associate. Then, of course, there is a reconciliation report. This is a very detailed query builder type report. You can do various searches. You can search by module names, you can search by file names, you can search by GST IDs, you can search by invoice numbers, you can search by seller. You have various options that you can search on, and you can also create custom invoice formats. So let's say, for example, sorry, custom report format. So let's say, for example, you create this particular report template, the filters. Now you have these various options that are available, and we have given you a lot of data points. Now from here, you can choose to download it in a standard view, detail view, summary view as a CSV, Excel, XLSX, or you can create a custom report template, and you have the option to also edit the template on a later date. So you give a template name, you choose what all fields you want. So we are capturing, as I said, so much of information, including reference fields, which are like custom fields that are given to you to update any information as part of the purchase register upload. And you can then create that. You can also edit the template and then accordingly download that report into that particular format. Tax compliance report is more or less only focused on the recon results. So the AP report gives you every data, gives you actively reconciled data, it gives you old data, it gives you duplicate data, everything is stored. So AP report gives you that. Tax compliance is very specifically only the reconciled active data is what is available, so that it gives you very clear visibility on the ITC that you can claim. You can choose one or more GST IDs. Here also you can create a custom template. You give a template name, and then you can download it in Excel, XLSX, CSV, etc. And then you have that complete large data set of data points that you can go through. File audit trail is basically an audit trail of every upload that has happened, and who uploaded, when they uploaded, what is the IP address from which they uploaded, how many file records did they upload, and so on and so forth as part of audit trail. Also the 2A, 2B pull log. When was the pull done? What was the status of the pull? How many records were pulled? All of it is available. And FY data freeze. So let's say for some reason you complete the 23-24 reconciliation and you don't want to make any further changes. You want it frozen. You don't want your associates also to pull the 2A, 2B of 23-24 and make updates to the reconciliation module. Then you can choose what is called as FY data freeze. So if you take an action to freeze this data, then we will not allow any PR or 2A data, 2A, 2B data to be uploaded for that particular financial year. So that is what is this FY data freeze. Then of course you have various analytics and dashboards. So you have what we call as a balance sheet, where you can choose the report basis a return period or upload month, one or more GST IDs, and then you have, it's more like a balance sheet. As like a balance sheet, it gives you an opening balance of open no match and open partial match, input for the current return period, and the total, that is the closing balance, that is open no match, open partial match, and the exact match. Each of these across 2A, 2B data, PR data, the delta, that is the difference between the 2A, 2B and the purchase register, and individually all of these can be downloaded as CSV or CSV formats, or the whole thing can be downloaded as a single Excel workbook. Then you have PR analysis, GST ID wise or all GST, segment wise, like supply type wise, file type wise, reverse charge wise, filing status wise, etc. How many records are in exact, partial, no match, and so on. And the 2A, 2B also. That is what is the type of data, whether it's 2A, 2B, whether it's only 2A, whether it's only 2B, and so on. How many records are uploaded, what is the categorization of those data. Vendor analysis, it gives you GST ID wise or all GST, a very detailed analysis of all the vendors, and whether you want to whether you have enabled the vendor access portal to those vendors, and if so, then you can also you can also initiate a invite. You can re-invite those vendors to the vendor portal. who is the tax team email, what is the business team email, what is the Fynamics compliance score. So we also calculate what is called as a Fynamics compliance score. You can ignore the negative sign on these values because these are dummy data. So what Fynamics FCS, which is Fynamics compliance score, does is to give you a scoring based on 0 to 10 on how compliant the vendor is. So vendor portal is disabled. By default, it is disabled. If you want access, you could just email us at support@fynamicsgst.in. MIS, there is a lot and lot of MIS that's made available. These are basically graphical interfaces, so giving you filed versus not filed. ITC, that's available as per overall PR, as per accepted PR, as per 2A, as per 2B, as per 2A plus 2B. Record result, what is the partial count of exact match, partial match, no match, and so on. Partial match classification, the top 5 vendors based on partial match, based on no match, and all of these are hyperlinks that will take you straight to the reconciliation report. So if you want to specifically see what are these, what is this one single invoice, you can just click that. It will take you directly to the reconciliation report from where you can download and see more data. Finally, the vendor response. So as I said, you can enable a vendor portal access, in which case the email that the reconciliation email that gets sent to the vendors will include a link for them to also log in via a email based OTP, and basis that they can log in and look at the records that are in partial match, the records that are in no match, and so on, and also take a response, then also do a response or give a response on it. And basis that you get to see the data, so it will tell you which invoice, what are the details, and what are the user comments, what did they comment, whether they uploaded any screenshot, what are the GST IDs for which they commented, and so on. And then that's more or less of what happens on the vendor response. So this is to allow you a collaboration with the vendors, in which wherein the vendors get intimated on the invoices that are in partial match or no match. They give a response to each of those invoices, and then that's like a permanent access to them. So even if even next month if there's a reconciliation, they can just go to this vendor portal and just keep tagging or looking at the data points and taking informed decisions or responding to those mismatches, so that you also have a visibility of what is the update from the vendor. So these are what we have on the vendor record. It's a very intelligent AI-driven reconciliation solution from Fynamics, which is a GST Suvidha provider. We hope you had a good view of recon module. For any details, feel free to reach out to Fynamics team. We are more than happy to help you. Thank you for watching this video.